Well, I'm going to do a battery test. I got a battery tester. This is what I have here, which is this. And I'm going to do a battery test on the battery of the Bel Air. Now, I've been playing with it for a little bit and trying to figure some things out. It wants to know the amp hour rating of the battery. I took the battery out of the car because I couldn't find it. I didn't know if it was on a decal somewhere else, but that's the Napa battery that's in the car, and this battery's probably about 10 years old. It's been in the car a long time, and I want to check it out and make sure the battery's good. So we got this battery tester we're going to do a little video on, and if you want to buy one, you can go in the description and I'll leave a link. But the biggest issue so far is the tiny print, so yeah, I had to, well, I don't even know where oh, right here. I had to go in the house and get my magnifying glass to read this. I don't know if the camera will focus there or not, but yeah, it would be nice if the print was bigger. But it wants to know the, hang on, let me get rid of the magnifying glass now. So we'll hook this up. Quick test. Please input the amp hour value in the label of the battery. Well, I don't really know what it is. We'll say it's 50 or 100 maybe. We'll say it's 100 just because that's what we're going to say it is. But it's got 650 cold cranking amps on the battery. But anyway, we'll do the quick test. I don't know if this, can you see the, I don't know if that shows up in the, I can't tell if it shows up in the camera or not, but it says the battery's health is 97%, 98% charged. Internal resistance is 4.12 mega ohms, and it's rated at 720 amp, and it says good battery. So that's, you know, just taking a guess at what the amp hour rating is. But we'll do some other tests here. And battery in vehicle, let's just hit battery test. Check surface charge, turn on lights. Okay, I gotta hook the battery back up, so let me do that. I'll put the, took my little battery topper off. Yeah, this car has a Napa battery in it, as you can see, and it looks like the correct original battery, and that thing sits on top of it. How about that, huh? My dad got me this little topper for Christmas probably 30 plus years ago. Anyway, yeah, I kind of like it. So anyway, let me hook all the battery back up, because we're going to do a cranking. We're going to check the starter. This will check the starter, and it'll check the charging system too. And this car doesn't go through batteries because the generator tends to keep the battery up at a higher charge than an alternator. So they just seem to last longer. I had a battery in this car for 18 years at one point. Like I say, this one's probably close to 10 years old now. But anyway, let me get the clamps and all the bolts and cables back on. Okay, the battery's back in. I took a picture of the top of the battery, so if I need to refer to what cranking amps and stuff are, I can. So battery in vehicle. I just can't tell on my viewfinder if that is showing up, and we're going to go with battery test. Check surface charge, turn lights on. Take headlights on about 10 seconds, turn lights off. Well, put my load tester on it just for the heck of it, and so the surface charge is off, so we're going to say that's off. So I'll push enter and see, oh, regular flooded, which I think this battery is. You have a choice of different types of batteries, from a regular flooded, AGM flat plate, AGM spiral, gel, or EFB. I don't know, I think this is just a regular flooded. Let's see, what was the, that's the one I'll go with. Select input. Now I gotta look at my phone and see what the, I think the, I just don't, I think the amp hour, I'm gonna say is 100, but I don't know what it is because it's not listed on the battery, but I'm going to see what the picture says of the battery here. So it doesn't give me that GB. So we're just going to say 100 just because that's what we're going to say. Testing. And again, I don't know if you can see the screen on this through the phone. You can plug this into the computer and print this out too. It says good battery, healthy, 94%, 701 cold cranking amp. And I think the cold cranking amp is 650 on there. This says it's 701. Charge is 97%. Again, the internal. So basically, it's saying it's all good. And then we can go back to, I think, yeah, you can go down here and print data. System setup was that there. Maybe I can darken up the contrast. Yeah, now I think I can see it on the okay, quick test. I don't know if you can see it or not now. So we'll go to vehicle and battery test, and that was done. And I'm guessing on that. I think you can see it now, right? So there we go, and we'll check the charging system. I got to read the directions here and what you do to check the charging, the cranking and charging system, the starter and charging. So I'll move this so the fan doesn't eat it, and we'll get this to the cranking mode here in a moment, and then we'll crank the engine and see what it does. So back to the main screen. I don't know, hopefully this still shows up in my camera. You go down to battery and vehicle, enter, cranking test, enter, start engine. So I'm going to set the camera up so it records that, and then I'll go start the engine. And again, I don't know if the camera can read that or not. If it doesn't, well, sorry, but I can tell you what it says. So let me start the engine. And it starts pretty easy, so I don't know if it needs a crank bit or not. Cranking normal, 9.69 volts, time 11.90 milliseconds. I don't know if that shows up, that's why I'm reading it. Let's go to check the generator out. So we'll go, let me, exit, battery and vehicle charging test. Says ripple test, load testing, increase RPM to 2,500 or 3,000 a minute for 5 seconds. Press continue to enter after I suppose I rev the engine. I think that was 5 seconds. It says loaded 14.83 volts, unloaded 14.65, ripple is 41 millivolts. Voltage normal. So the generator, I wonder if it changes the voltage if I increase the engine. No, so I think that just tested it right there. So it says the Charging system is working normal, which is all good. I think the waveform checks your diodes in your alternator. This does not have diodes. This is a direct current generator. And you see the wave, I don't know if, like I say, I darken the contrast, but whether that's showing up or not, I don't know. We'll put it on in a car with an alternator and see. And there you can review your data, and there you can print it. So let's review it. It says good battery. Yep, and that doesn't change the settings there. So, and then you can go there and you can print it. If you, I don't have a printer, so I can't print it. Sorry about that. But there we go. So the battery actually surprisingly good. The starting system is good, and the charging system is good. So that is nice to know. The only thing is I don't know the amp hour of the battery. It could be more, it could be less. I'm just guessing. I know the bike, well, that's 6 volt. I don't know if this will do 6 volt. And but that has 3 amp hour battery in it, that I do know. But we can put it on the, now I haven't started the truck in a couple of weeks. So we'll see. Actually, when I got the bike was the last time I started the truck. Battery in vehicle. Battery test. There's no surface charge. Like I say, I haven't started the truck in at least 2 weeks. So we're just gonna hit enter, enter, enter. And I don't, it's a bit of work to get the cover off this battery, so we're just gonna do a test. It says healthy 100%, 776 cold cranking amps. Charge 28%, 12.18 volts. So I could probably need to start the truck or drive it, but it says good. Recharge, yeah, I can believe it needs recharging. Like I say, it's been since I brought that home was the last time I've started the truck, and that's been maybe 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. It's been a while, so maybe I ought to put the battery maintainer on it, and then I think I'll put it on the Escape, and we'll start that vehicle up and see what it states. This is a Deca battery, and it's 5 years old, I think. Deca makes the best batteries. I think they do anyway. And I think Deca makes the Napa. Johnson Controls, Deca, and Excite are the 3 battery manufacturers. I like Excite the least. Johnson Controls are good, but Deca are the best in my mind. So I always try and buy a battery made by Deca. You can see a little bit of the D right there. Well, there's no sense in letting the old 348 sit there and idle, so the radio's on too, and it's staticky from the fluorescent tubes. So there, we turn the engine off. Let's see what it says after it's had a surface charge on it, just for the heck of it, because we can, right? We're going to say we did that. Might show because it says good battery again. Health 85%, 664 cranking amps. Charge 100% at 13.35 volts. Resistance is still 4.41 and rated is 720. I think the rated on the car is, let me see here. Cold cranking amps rated is 650. So if any of you know how to decipher what this is, how many amp hours this battery is. Maybe it's the BCIN number. It states in here what that is. And let's see here. BCI is 100 to, it just says 100 to 2000 on that. So I don't know really what the BCI is. Let's try it on the escape alternator, the charging part. So this battery actually states the amp hour, and it says it's 20 amp hours, and the cold cranking amps is 600. This is a Deca battery too, and you can see it was put in what, October of, well, that would be a 0, so probably 20, because I think I put a battery in this about 4 years ago. That makes sense. So we'll change this to, let's do the quick test. Let's change that to, what did I say it was, 20? Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. Well, it looks like 30 is the lowest. The setting is that 20, reference 20 amp hour. It says 45 below it, so maybe it's 45. We'll set this at 45 there. Enter. This is a quick test. 100%. Charge 61%. 12, the door is open, so the interior lights and stuff are on. You should probably close the door to shut the interior lights off. They take a moment to go off. The headlights and everything, I think, yeah, we'll see how the lights are on. That's the way these new cars work. It says good recharge, but that's probably because the door was open and lights are on. The engine's still warm. This car was just on the road. And let's exit battery and vehicle, enter battery test. The lights just ran because I had the doors open, so we're gonna regular flooded. And this is 45 amp hour, we're gonna say. Testing. There you go. Can you read that? I think you can. I can see it in the viewfinder, so I think you can see it too. So it says the battery's good. Let's exit. Whoops, exit. Let's I think exit. Where was it? Did I, maybe that's still, there we go. Cranking. Let's press enter. When we start the engine now, like I say, the lights come on when I open the door because that's the way these cars work. There we go, 620 milliseconds. This started a lot quicker than the Bel Air, and it says 10.5 volts. Hear that little clicking? That's what map sensors sound like. That is the map sensor. Let's go to the charging system. Alright, this has, it's throttled by wires, so I have to do this with the accelerator pedal. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Press enter. Voltage normal, so the charging system's working good on this car too. So we got a good charging system, good starting system, and a good battery in this car, so that's all good. Now here's a battery that hasn't been in a car, and well, I put a new battery in the Escape as preventative maintenance, I think in 4 years ago, and this has been sitting around for 4 years. Occasionally charged, and it again is the same rating as the Escape, 600 cold cranking amps. It says 20 amp hour rate, 45, so again this doesn't go down to 20, so we're going to say it's 45. Let's do a quick test. 45 amp hour testing. It's been a while since I've had this on a charger. 100%, 97% charged, 12.64 volts, 4.61 mega ohms of resistance, rated at 360. That's cranking amps, or 360 amps. This is it's a 600 crank amp battery. I don't know how old this is, this battery, but yeah, we had problems with the alternator light coming on and intermittently, and the battery was old, so I put a new one in it. It didn't make a difference. It was a wiring harness to the alternator and had to be replaced. So anyway, yeah, this battery's good. Let's go back to out of vehicle, and let's push that for regular flooded. I don't know what the difference would be in or out of the vehicle. And it basically gives us the same. It says it's a good battery still. Like I say, it hasn't been in a vehicle in 4 years, and I've probably charged it maybe 3 or 4 times. About once a year I throw it on the maintainer until it's up, just, you know, because I do use it around the garage occasionally. But yeah, that's still a perfectly good battery. Good to know. Oh, I meant to put the waveform on the Escape. Let me go, we'll put it back on the Escape and see what the waveform is for the alternator. I don't know, does this show up in the, trying to get it to show up, but it's given the 14.53 volts, maximum 14.6, the mix is 14.4, and you can see the little bar, and I think that checks your diodes, because an alternator generates alternating current, and the diode bridge in it converts it to direct current. So the alternator is way down in there. Can you even see it? I don't know if it's even visible, but it's way down in there. Yeah, it's a nightmare to get at. This car's got over 150,000 miles on it, believe it or not. Let's see. Got 150, 156. Yeah, it's a good car. It's not giving us any trouble whatsoever. Just love the car. The AC's on. It's blowing nice and cold right now. Yeah, really nothing wrong. I had to close the door to get the odometer. Now you see the door jar light on. But yeah, it's been a really good car. This is the box it came in, and there comes with the cord to plug it in so you can print out your data. And I'll just hold this up and you can pause the video if you care to read it. And this is easier to read than the only thing I can give for constructive criticism is the printing on this is really tiny. Now if I was a teenager in my 20s, and I'm 63, so yeah, it's harder for me to see this without a magnifying glass. But I'm going to read these directions from end to end and see if there's any other features, and if there is, we'll add it into the video. But also, the Bel Air is going to be used in another photo shoot. I got the guy that wrote the book on Detroit Moderns writing another book, and he's looking for a 59 car for 2 different outlets. One's in Midland and one's in I forget, up near Port Huron, Michigan. China Township, maybe, I don't remember. But anyway, it's up near Port Huron. And the house up near Port Huron is a 1961 house. And the one in Midland is a 1959 house. So who knows? We might be driving to Midland. We might be driving to China. It's going to be kind of one of those last minute, you know, he'll call me and the next day we'll have a photo shoot. So I'll just jump in the car. And they do them in the evening because the lighting is best in the evening. So it's like 7, 8 o'clock-ish. So yeah, I might be driving home a little bit. You know, it doesn't get dark until 9:30, 10 o'clock around here now. So maybe, you know, I'll be in an urban area before it gets dark. I'll just have to really watch for deer while I'm, you know, out in the rural area. So I don't know if you can see it says GB there, and I'm looking in the manual here, and it says GB is China National Standard. So it says CCA cold cranking amps, BIC Battery Council International Standard, CA cold or just cranking amps. MCA is marine cranking amps, JIS is Japan Industrial Standard, and then DIN is German Auto Industry Committee Standard, IEC is Internal Electrotechnical Commission Standard, EN is European Automobile Industry Association Standard, SAE is Society of Automotive Engineers Standard, which is probably what I should use, right? SAE. Well, it doesn't, yeah, right there. We'll use that. And what did I say this battery cranking amp was? Cranking amps, cold is 800 or 650. Let's see, no, that's amp hour. We're gonna, no, it just says 500 amp. Let me see how many amp. 800. The BIC number is 24, which is on here as Battery Council International Standard. I'm going to put it to that. What did I say? BIC? Right there. Enter. BCI, is that what it is? And then on the battery, that was 24. I don't know if you set this to 24 or to the amps. We'll see what. I don't think that makes sense to set it at 24, but it only goes down to 100. So we'll set it back up to, what did I say that was? 600 amp? We'll go back over to the phone and look. Oops, going too far. Let me see what this. 800 cranking amps at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 650 at 0. Well, we'll set it at 850. $850, there we go. Enter. It's above 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, it says 693 cold cranking amps, 66% health, charge is 100%. The internal resistance about the same. It says replace 850 amp battery. Maybe it is the other number here. What did I say it was? 650. Let's put 650 in and see what it says. I mean, you know, I mean, it could need to be replaced. The battery is old. Let's go to change this to 650. Okay. And now it says good battery, so that must be what it is, just the cranking amps, not the cold, or the cold, you know, the smaller the numbers, it says that it's good there, and rated at 650 amps. So it says battery's 100% healthy, 693 cold cranking amps, charge is 100% at 12.84 volts. The resistance still the same at 4.22 mega ohms, and it's rated at 650 amps. Whoops, sorry. And that's what the battery is rated at, 650 amps. So that battery is good. It's good to know. I often wonder about the battery in this car because it's, you know, I rarely replace it. Like I say, I got 18 years out of one battery. I think I got 10 or 12 out of another one. This one's 10 and still going strong, as you can see. Hopefully you can see. Like I say, I can't tell what the camera is showing on the viewfinder. The viewfinder's just, you know, it's a GoPro 8 black, so the view screen isn't very big, but I'm hoping you can see it. So anyway, there we go. So I learned a little by going in the directions as what is for settings there to set this up correctly. So now we know. Good to know. And I'll read the directions some more, you can be sure of that. Alright, there we go. Let's do the quick test just for the heck of it. I think I'm going to increase that to 50 just for the heck of it. It shows a little lower cranking amp, but it still shows it as good, setting it at 50 amp hours. Probably not, I don't know how many amp hours. I wish, you know, I don't know, maybe they make them put that on batteries nowadays, but this battery certainly doesn't have it. Like I say, I took it completely out of the car and looked at the label still on the front of the battery, and I thought, well, maybe it's on the front of the battery, but that didn't have any, all the technical data was right there on the top. Usually there's a date code melted into the case of the battery, and I looked when I had it out of the car and I didn't see it, and I still don't see it. So anyway, I don't know if there is or not. Let's look on this battery. This one, the one in the Escape was peeled, the thing was peeled off, so yeah, I don't see one on this battery either. Usually they have a date code right on the battery. Maybe something in that tells the year or whatever. If any of you know about date coding a battery, leave a comment, because I don't see anything on this battery. And I know this battery was probably about 5 or 6 years old when I swapped it out. That's why I swapped it out first, was because I knew the battery was, you know, I think it was 6 or 7 years old, and that's typical of life of a battery. And so I just thought, well, maybe it's the battery causing the alternator light, but it was the alternator sits in the front bottom of the engine, so it picks up all the crap from the road, the spray, you know, and it just corroded the wires that went to the alternator, so they had to be replaced. And the whole harness had to be replaced to the alternator, and it wasn't the battery, but I put a battery in it just as preventative maintenance anyway. Vehicles like that, this, you know, I don't depend on this every day anymore, so that's why I don't. Battery, when the truck doesn't start, that's when I'll put a battery in it. When this doesn't start, that's when I'll put a battery in it. I can push start this. So, and even if you have one of these old cars with an automatic, if it's the correct air automatic transmission, they have a rear pump in the tail housing of the transmission. And I had a 60 Chevy. I had a bad starter and I couldn't afford a new one at the time, so if it didn't start, I just push started it. You could just open the door and kind of push it down the road, get it up about 5-6 miles an hour. I mean, you'd have to really get it moving, you know, about 5 miles an hour, and slam the lever into drive, and that would have enough fluid pressure to engage the transmission, turn the motor, and it would start right up. This is a manual, so this I can just dump the clutch, And this starts so easy. Now that it's been run, you'd probably just touch the key and it'll probably start. We'll see, won't we? Got the hoods on all the vehicles around here open. Yeah, see? It's still cold. Take it out for a little ride. Yeah, it's still running pretty. It'll squeal the belt if I give it, you know, they needed to put wider belts on these powerful engines with that 5-blade fan and the generator and power steering and everything. The water pump all off one tiny little V-belt. You can squeal the belt, especially when I first started cold and the generator's wanting to charge a lot. It'll squeal the belt. Right now I don't think it will. I think it's, you can hear it a little bit. I don't think I've taken you for a ride in this since I put seat belts in it. Let me see if I can video this and put the belt on one-handed here. Not a lot of light there, but oh well, there we are, buckled in. All right, and I reset the clock because I had the battery disconnected for about an hour. The temperature gauge is starting to come up a little bit. I don't like just starting the engine and stopping it, so I'm going to take the car for a little run. I just think it's really hard on an engine just to let them run without driving the car. I usually don't start the engine. Same with the truck. I don't start it unless I'm taking it out on the road, and that's with this too. So I'm going to just take it for a little run, maybe a few miles, 4 or 5 miles maybe, and then we'll call it good. Trying to drive a stick and hold something is really difficult. You really need both hands all the time, and I don't like holding so anyway, I'm probably not going to video much. That's all I'm going to video, so you get to go for a little ride in old Bel Air. I suppose I could take the video off the dash cam, but I just wanted to do a little video like this. Alright, I gotta stop here and change gears, so I'm turning you off. Well, that's it for this video. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I just wanted to show this battery tester I got. I think it's a pretty dandy unit. It's a BA101, and it's actually a pretty nice little tester. I mean, it gave me the info on the battery on the Bel Air and the starter and the charging system, so you can check all 3 of them out. Keep your cars, you know, maintained. Make sure a little preventive maintenance on the battery. You know, it never hurts, especially in, you know, modern vehicles that you can't push start. Unlike these, even with automatic transmissions, you can push start. The Galaxy, the 66 Galaxy had a rear pump in the transmission, so you could push start that too. A lot of people don't realize the old automatics you can push start because they have a drive shaft driven fluid pump, and all you got to do is have enough pressure in there to engage the clutches and it'll crank the motor. So yeah, there'll be a link in the description for this, and I highly recommend it. I actually really like it. I have an old school one that load tests with a carbon pile, but that just tells you if your battery's, you know, up or not. It doesn't really tell you the condition of the battery, or, you know, doesn't really give you, it does have things to check the starting and charging system, but it's not as cut and dry and as simple as this. This thing's awesome. I actually really like it. I've played with it a bit, and I'll be playing with it more. So, you know, I'll learn as I go. And when I do other batteries and test them, we'll get this out and include it in the video when I do them in the future too. So yeah, I recommend it. And it's not terribly expensive. It's got the port there, so you can hook it up to your printer. I think you need you know, set it up so it'll work on your computer, you know, put the correct app or whatever in to you know, so you can print your info off this if you want to. If you're doing it for somebody else, if you're a little shop and you want to check somebody's battery and give them a printed thing from their battery, you can print it from this with a USB cable that it comes with to plug it into your laptop. So anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Hope you enjoyed the checking the batteries out in a bunch of vehicles and one that I never use. And like I said, didn't seem to work on 6 volt. That's just a little 6 volt battery in there. So anyway, there we go. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up icon. It helps. If you like my channel, that 348 engine icon that pops up will help you subscribe. And thank you for watching my video.